Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Cinefiles on Cinema, Halloween edition, because it's still a spooky month in November. It's like the first full week of November. We're late on this one.
Yeah, just a bit.
And we're going to dedicate this episode to Holly slash Haley slash Sassy, because she's got the pneumonia.
Get well soon.
She also made the dope logo that you guys will see later. So as for our spooky episode today, we're gonna talk about the two scariest movies I've ever seen in my whole life. Talking about the day my parents got married and the day I came into existence.
Also known as Halloween.
Halloween 1978 and Halloween 2018. Austin, I brought in the guy who's my boss at night.
That's right.
He's like SpongeBob at night.
At night.
This is Austin. He's a special guest. Cue the Super Smash Bros. Announcement theme when they announce a new character. He joins the crew.
Glad to be here.
So, let's get this over with. Halloween 1978, written and directed by John Carpenter, who, if I'm really going to say this like 1,000 times, is my favorite filmmaker. That doesn't work anymore. I own almost all of his 80s filmography with the exception of The Fog. It's like the one I haven't seen. But what I originally, it was conceived as a sort of sequel to the Canadian slasher movie Black Christmas. But it wasn't, and he's just like, hey, that sounds cool, I'm gonna steal that. Not really, he didn't steal it. But it was the highest grossing independent movie for, I think, a couple of decades until something else overtook it. I don't know what. Something did. It's probably a Richard Linklater movie. Probably Dazed and Confused. It's a good movie, though. But this sort of introduced the slasher genre to America, which, if you don't know the tropes of slashers, I'm not going to explain it. Because, ow, no, that's bad. Ow. I'm not a girl, Bradley.
Were you doing a horror movie slasher trope right there?
It always goes after the girls. Unless you're a dude. Unless you're a lady pretending to be a dude. But, Bradley, what did you think of this movie?
Why did they make Michael Myers so hey, I get shot 18 times? He is just a flesh wound. Oh, I get kicked off a
He falls off.
10-foot high building. I can walk it off. What?
Why did they have to put Busta Rhymes into a Halloween movie?
That's the real question. Why'd you do that?
Why Busta Rhymes?
Why?
I mean, LL Cool J I can understand because he's cool. He's a cool guy. Wears that, beanie, that fishing-looking hat. But Busta Rhymes... what else you got on this?
Well...
Are you spooked?
I'm pretty easily spooked, so...
I know
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Bradley screams like a girl.
No. I do not.
Austin, what do you think of this movie? Because I know you and I have talked at length about this before.
I really liked the first Halloween. I thought it was really good. What I liked about it is it didn't show a lot of the killings. So it was kind of mysterious as to what was happening to him, which made it scarier. The fact that he didn't talk made him scarier. The fact that he kind of showed up and it was out of the blue, this and that.
Because
it made him scarier than just nowadays it's gore and guts, and back then it wasn't. So the mysteriousness of what the kill was and not showing it on screen made your imagination think, oh my gosh, what happened to him? So I think that was the scariest part of that, and that really scared a lot of people in 1978 too.
Yeah, what is it? Because the only direction they gave the guy who played Michael Myers was they gave him virtually no direction, so he just kind of acted like he is soulless.
Yeah.
There's only one thing in this movie that really throws me off because there's a lot of POV shots in this movie. There's that one where he's following little Tommy Doyle in the back of the sanitarium car, and the POV is from the back of the car, and you clearly see Michael Myers driving, so it's just like, whose POV is that meant to be?
Yeah. The heavy breathing too is another.
Because like the final shot of this movie where they just show all of the stuff of is just, oh, here's all the places that we know and stuff, and then there's just heavy breathing.
Yeah.
It's just a guy in a latex mask, and he's just like, I don't know how to replicate breathing.
Oh,
into that.
also the music score definitely added to it. Like when they had it, and then when they didn't have it, and all you could just hear
It knew when to
silent,
music,
and it was just
Which is also why I
different.
love
They
John
said-
Carpenter, because he does his own tracks.
They said that they like debuted it in front of an audience, and people were like, "It's not really that scary." And then when they added the music, that it scared the crap out of people. So that showed the music deal too, I think. So I thought it was pretty cool. So yeah, I thought that was cool. What's your next one?
Is there anything else you want to talk about it?
No, I thought the leaves, like, because they shot it in summertime. Did you know that they used all the leaves?
Mm-hmm, they had
And they had bags of them, and then they'd throw them out, and then they'd pick them back up and reuse them again for the shot.
also the fact that before the original Halloween 2 was like, oh, Laurie Strode and Michael Myers, they're siblings. If you just take that out, it's just the only reason he's stalking her and like killing her is just because she just happened to be in the vicinity.
Yeah, went to his house, yeah.
Just went to his house and he's just like, all right, I'm
It's
gonna
like,
do
you're
this.
it.
Tag, you're it.
Yeah. But
Your turn to be stalked now.
but
That's
if
pretty much what he was like with his family. It was just,
yeah,
all right, one family member down, on to the next.
and it kind of trailblazed the other slasher films. Like Friday the 13th, they even said was a copycat of Halloween.
Yeah, Friday the 13th though is also kind of another slasher movie that
Mhm.
established all the stuff.
But no, it was
But
good.
yeah, this is what put slashers on the map, and so now we're gonna talk about Halloween 2018, which came out last year.
Yeah.
It was not directed by John Carpenter, but I was really surprised when I went to see this in theaters because I thought he was just producing it. To find out that he also did the score for it, which was awesome.
Thank goodness.
It was really good. It was phenomenal because it's synth, and I love synth. So this is meant to take place 40 years after the original Halloween, like exactly 1978, 2018.
It's a reboot, but it's a sequel.
Reboot, cool.
Something that's common nowadays.
Yeah, it's very common nowadays.
Yes.
So,
To-
they bring back
you reboot the series, but you reboot the second episode.
Yeah, and you cut all the 12 films in between
Mhm.
there and say this is the sequel to the original.
because there's like 3 timelines now for Halloween. You got the original continuity, then you have Halloween 4, 5, and 6, and then you have
2000
You have H2O, and then
Yeah.
Resurrection, and then you have the Rob Zombie timeline, Rob Zombie one, and then now you have this one.
Yep.
Which is really stupid and confusing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're gonna skip all those sequels, even though there's only 4 Halloween movies you really need to watch. You need to watch the first one. You need to watch the original Halloween 2, Season of the Witch, which everybody was like, that movie sucks, but that
It's got
movie.
some nice kills. In
It does. The one where they use the Halloween mask and that all of a sudden those snakes just start crawling out of that kid's head.
Yeah.
This is pretty good.
Oh, it was nasty.
And then this one. So this takes place 40 years after, and they're just like, oh yeah, dude, we caught Michael Myers just running, put him back in the sanitarium and blah blah blah. And Laurie Strode, we didn't really mention her in the original one when we were just talking about. She's sort of just like, she has like PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
She's like a survivalist kind of woman. And she's just like, I've been waiting 40 years to kill this guy. And she like goes and sits outside of it when they're transporting him. And she's like, I just really pray that he breaks out so I can done shoot him.
She's just been waiting this whole time for him to come back.
Yeah. This movie, unlike the original, this one's pretty bloody.
Yeah.
I saw, like I said, I saw this in theaters twice. Because first time I told you, sorry. First time I went, there's this guy who'd talk during like some of the most like freaking low
Yeah.
points.
And I hate that when people.
And then the second time I went, I sat behind this high school couple, and the dude's phone goes off, and he answers it. He's like, "Hi, mom. I know I'm at the movies," and I'm like, "What the
That's
heck,
awful.
dude?"
It's bad movie etiquette.
This movie has a lot, but I was sitting there watching this movie. I'm like, this movie's probably just gonna be very tame. And then it just shows a dude who's got like half of his jaw ripped off.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh.
Yeah, it amped up the gore compared to the first one.
Yeah, a dude gets curb stomped.
Yeah, that was crazy.
The one thing that I still question is like, how did he find time to hollow that dude's head out so he could make it into a jack o'
Make
lantern?
the jack o' lantern, yeah.
I
remember seeing that popped up in the trailer, so I was looking for.
I questioned that. I'm like, how did you find the time to get scoop it all out?
I like how they kept that. They kept like that mystery of how did Michael Myers accomplish that.
It's like the first one where there's just like he gets in a car and drives. And it's just like, what? It's like he doesn't know how to drive. He's been in here for like 15 years, dude. And then Dr. Loomis, who's played by the late great Donald Pleasance, whose last film credit is Halloween 6.
Sadly.
Unfortunately, that's a very high bar to go out on. He's just like, well, maybe some dude's giving him lessons or something, bro. I don't know.
Yeah.
Which I guess we could go back to 1978. Dr. Loomis, he's not crazy in the first one like he is in all the
He
sequels.
gets crazier as he keeps going.
Where he's just very calm, and then he just goes all of a sudden to like grabbing small children by their arms and just like shaking them and screaming at them. He's just like, tell me where he is.
Yeah.
But he's the only person who knows like what Michael Myers is. He doesn't call him a he. He's just like it doesn't eat or sleep. All it does is kill. And then somebody's like, can we please refer it to as he instead of it? And he's like, well, I guess if you say so.
Yeah, he just calls him pure evil.
He's like, and he eats dogs. Michael Myers just eats dogs.
Oh yeah.
That dog's like barking, like picks it up, strangles it, and then like eats it. And then Dr. Loomis is just like, oh, it's a dead dog. He probably got hungry.
Yeah, that's.
Just eats that dog.
Yeah. But I liked how 2018 kind of kept the same feel as the original, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's got like
it was a good fresh feel for it, and it made you excited. Like I remember in the movie theater being excited towards the end. I was like,
I told
when
Mike
the roles switched between Laurie and Michael. I was pumped. I was ready to go.
I legit told Mike when I was in the theater, I called the ending like 10 minutes before it happened.
Yeah, and then when she disappears, I was like, oh.
Oof.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed watching it in the theaters.
This movie had like a lot of stupid jump scares, and not like the very good kind of jump scares. It's like the stupid jump cut jump scares, where they're just like, oh, it's all quiet and ambiance. Then it just cuts to immediately something that's really loud.
Yeah.
Like the second time I went in the theaters, I remembered exactly where all of them are. Which is the main problem with jump scares, because if you've seen it already, you're automatically going to know exactly where they're at. And plus, if you're not watching it in like a movie theater or something, then if you don't like have the volume on your TV turned up like really loud, you're not going to be like, oh my gosh, I got spooked.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jump scares will always get me.
Even if he knows it's coming.
Bradley's girlish shriek. Oh!
Again.
Kidding, Bradley.
No.
I love you.
But I really enjoyed it. I thought the little kid's humor was funny too.
It was all completely improvised.
You go up there and you get killed.
That was all completely improvised.
Was
too.
it really? I did not know that.
Yeah, well, director's not just gonna make a thing like that in a horror movie with a kid.
Yeah.
It's not gonna make a young small child curse.
That's like a taboo of horror films.
That's like when they made Super.
Try to not kill him.
That's like when they made Superbad, and the kid who made McLovin was underage, so his mom had to be there for every single thing that he had to film.
That's funny.
That's not awkward at all. But no, I thought this movie was really good. I thought both of them were phenomenal. Especially considering that this was the Halloween 78 was the second film that John Carpenter made after Dark Star, which was like a student film that he made with the guy who wrote the original script from Alien, Dan O'Bannon, who also made a really good zombie movie, Return of the Living Dead. Which, if the zombie apocalypse is like that, like, we're screwed.
We're done.
We're done for, because like those things can't be killed, because there's that really great scene where they're like, "Oh, we just go for the head," and they like shove a pickaxe through the head, and the zombie's still alive, and they're like, "Oh my gosh!" What are you giving? Bradley, you haven't talked much.
Well, I'm not really a fan of like the horror genre, but I did see this just because I saw the original, and it was a nice because like Leprechauns.
Leprechaun's
Sequel.
not even that good of a
Like,
movie.
its reboot remake wasn't.
Oh yeah,
able
the
to-
one that was on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
That one was.
It
Actually
wasn't
bad.
able to stay up to par with its, in the hood,
Oh my god!
and but like this Halloween, it was able to be up there with all the sequels that actually had Michael Myers in it.
I still can't
Yeah.
believe you just said Leprechaun Origins was on par with Leprechaun in the Hood.
The Hood.
Yeah, really.
Dude, you should have compared it to Leprechaun in Space.
So which one did you like more? 2018 or 1978?
Well, it's probably the older one, just because it was ahead of its time,
Yeah.
and look at what it started.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like both equally.
Like, how many slasher films is The Killer in a Mask now? Like
all of them.
most of them.
There's this really good movie on Shudder called "You Could Be the Killer," where it's just a guy who's they have the trope of summer camp counselors, and then you have like the main guy who's like calling his friend outside of camp, and he's like, all this, he's like, "Oh, I'm terrified," and it turns out like he's the dude who's killing everybody because the mask is possessed. It's pretty good. Check that one out.
Like if you go to the channel Dead Meat and watch their kill counts, a lot of their kill counts is a slasher guy in a mask.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dead Meat. Tell them that we sent you. They probably aren't gonna know who we are, but me and Bradley are big fans.
Yes.
Love you guys. But I like both of them equally. I each have like the small amount of problems with both of them. Like I said, the 78, there's that POV shot that just makes like zero sense because you can see him driving and then there's just somebody in the back seat and you're like, who the heck is that? And then
another thing I always like to make fun of Halloween is that the victims would always be running and Michael would be walking, and Michael would always
Yeah,
catch
and he
up
always
to him.
catches them.
he just catches. He's like power walking.
It's
He's
like,
the
how-
fastest walker on
yeah,
the face of
it's
the earth.
like how bad of a run do you have?
Like another
to
thing
have?
about Michael Myers is that like people will stare at him and he'll disappear. And the best part about that is that it's the person who's like staring right at him will still be staring at him when he
He's
disappears
gone.
off
Yeah.
frame. It's just like, oh, he's standing there in the clothesline. Next shot, she's still looking at him. Next shot, he's gone. Next shot, she's still looking in that same direction. She doesn't like look away from it. It's actually really good. Like I said though, that one shot, that one little take from the original Halloween, and then my biggest problem with Halloween 2018 was the Dr. Loomis replacement, Dr. Sartain.
You're right.
Yeah, he kind of made me mad.
I didn't like him because he's just like, I want to hear him speak.
Yeah, and that's.
He
I
just
thought
had a
that was
weird-
interesting.
He just got a weird heart on for just like wanting to, just like
Wanting to
I
hear
want to
him
know how he works. I want to know like all the things, the inner workings of killing people.
Yeah.
Like typical psychopathic stuff. Like that'd be me. I'd used to be like, oh dude, don't bother me. Just I got a camera here. Let's just do it. But he's way too cliche, and he's just like. I'd say the best part of that scene where that kid just walks into the prison bus and he's got like a gun. He's like, "Don't shoot!"
Yeah,
and then
and
he
then
shoots
shoots
him
him, yeah.
immediately. The also thing I liked about this movie is they killed a kid. You don't see that anymore.
You really don't see that much.
back in like the 70s and 80s, like if you were a child, you were like guaranteed to die in a horror film.
Yeah, I don't know. Seeing it in 2018, that kind of bothered me.
I was just
But,
like, oh man, that kid's totally not gonna die. Then you just see him like in the truck. He's like, oh man, I gotta get out of here. Then Michael Myers just grabs a hold of him and starts slamming his head in the window. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, they killed a kid. I didn't think they still did that.
yeah, that was crazy.
How long have we been going?
Yeah.
20 minutes. We can talk for a few more minutes. Yeah, no, they killed the kid. I thought that was very interesting because, you know, people will be like, oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Especially now.
Elderly people.
Yeah, I thought it was. I don't know. Kind of bothered me.
Yeah, the only problem I really had with that was just Dr. Sartain, which was somebody like jokingly said the bit where he's got him on the ground before he curb stomped him. He's like, say something. Somebody thought it'd be really funny if Michael Myers just said something and then curb stomped him. Just like,
Yeah, and
say
then he
something.
like smashes his head and it's like a pumpkin. It's literally like.
I
thought that was crazy.
It'd be really funny if like he's just had a high pitched voice. It's just like, say something, something.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you don't talk
That's
for.
why he doesn't talk.
That's what happens when you don't talk for 40 years. Your voice, your vocal cords don't reach puberty.
Yeah.
The other thing I kind of didn't like was those podcasters at the beginning. Like, how did, like, legit... There's no way that two people who
Oh,
are
yeah.
like, we're from the internet and we want to see a serial killer. Okay. That
Yeah, I
they
was
give
shocked
him...
that they let him in, or let them in to go.
And also the mics that they're using, they also bring that up in the Dead Meat episode for early crappy too. But like legit, they're really dumb. And there's just like, hey, look, I got your old mask from 40 years ago. Which
Yeah.
wouldn't make sense because latex degrades.
Yeah.
That's my biggest problem with the first
That's
Rob
just,
Zombie.
that's just one of those things you chalk up to. It's a movie.
Put the mask back on.
And then everybody just immediately starts losing their freaking minds. All the other sanitarium people, like he pulls out the mask and he's just like, "Do you see it? Do you see it, dude?" And all the other crazy people are like, "Oh my gosh!"
Puts it on, kills the guy. Everyone's like,
No, that's not what
yeah, I
happened.
know.
I'd have to also say that really good one-shot take at the what is it? It's like after he gets out, it's Halloween night. That's the other small thing about this movie is like he stabs the lady through the neck, and it's clearly a CGI knife. Like that just took me out of it.
Yeah, especially since, you know, most slashers don't use the CGI on the knife.
Having just realized it nowadays, CGI blood just immediately takes me out of everything. Because blood doesn't just fly up and then disappear. That's not how it works. Like you look like a sad little clown. But, well, I guess we talked about it at length. Austin, would you recommend this movie, and who would you recommend it for?
Absolutely, I recommend it. I recommend both of them. I think you should definitely watch the first one before you watch the remake, though.
Because it'll
And
make
just,
sense.
I think anyone that kind of wants to get started in watching horror films or anything, I think they're good ones to watch. And like I said, the first one doesn't show that much gore, so if you're got a weak stomach, I think the first one's a good one to watch because you don't see what happens to him, so it kind of leaves it up to imagination.
Yeah, I think there's only like one bit of blood.
Yeah, it's very little.
It's very little.
And then you go from that to when now it's all
Yeah,
gore.
wasn't the first one rated PG-13?
No, PG-13 didn't exist till 85.
Oh, that's right.
You can thank Gremlins and Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
Oh, Raiders of the Lost Ark is PG and it has people's freaking faces melting off, but
Mhm.
dude getting his heart yoinked out of his chest, like, oh!
Yeah, but I'd recommend both of them for sure.
Bradley.
Yeah, I'd recommend it. I would recommend it's a good date movie.
Yes.
Did
For-
you hate your
for-
date?
For the guys who are scaredy cats. To, you know, to show,
Ladies who
show
like scary movies are cool.
no, it's just, you know, you show your weak side to your lady friend.
It's okay to cry during the Notebook, boys. I did. And now I just steal quotes from it. It makes me look like a loser. Yes, we're gonna fight, but we can do it! People tell me I look like Ryan Gosling. It's
Loser.
bad. I am a loser.
I just said that because you said people call you old. Would you recommend it, Blaine?
Maybe. Yes, I would. I'd recommend both of them. If you like horror movies and you haven't seen this movie, either one of these before, you should definitely watch them. If you're a fan of John Carpenter, like moi is, you should watch this and The Thing.
No, the thing's great.
Which if we
Not
were
the prequel.
not the prequel, don't watch that trash. We said that last episode. Don't watch that CGI abomination. Yeah, watch The Thing though. Thing's probably my favorite John Carpenter film ever because it's
Same.
awesome.
Yep, good movie.
We should have talked about that, but if we did, then I'd be the only one who knows. I would not recommend this for the elderly, like I said last time, because elderly people are gonna be like, "Why is that guy stalking them young teenagers? Why did that dude smash that other dude's head?" Like, Grandma, I don't want to be talking about that. It's a movie. Suspend your suspension of disbelief for like hours.
So if you want a fun time, bring your grandparents.
If you don't want a fun time, bring your parents.
They'll just be looking at you the whole film, just like, this is what you watch.
You just watch this smut all day long? Mom, it's just for fun. It's for fun now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Alright, if you were to give this a rating, what would you give it, Austin?
I'd give the first one a 8.7 out of 10, and I'd give the second one a 9 out of 10.
But what about you, Blaine?
I'd probably give the first one about 8.5, and then I'd give probably the 2018 one probably about 7.8, which is because, like I said, there's a couple pacing problems. I mean, it's still a good movie.
I would give the first one 8.5 Michael Myers masks, and I'd give the second one. I would also give it. I'll give it 8.5 pointy things that he used in H2O.
There you go.
No, we used the pitchfork in Halloween 6.
Oh, yeah.
He used that one thingy to mulch that lady. So that's it. Thank you for joining us. No, stop. No, we're not doing that. Mike, if you want to come into frame for 2 seconds and show people your mask. Come into frame. Come on.
Don't be shy.
Look, there's our Michael Myers, everybody. All right, now get up and get out of the frame.
Dang, we're so high maintenance.
We love you, Mike. Everybody show hearts to Mike. I'm just going to be the only one who does it. I can't see his facial expression in that. All right, people. We'll see you next time.